All right, let's talk about something we're all feeling. Have you looked at a receipt lately and just had that moment of shock? You're definitely not alone. It seems like in 2026, our money just isn't going as far as it used to. So today, we're going to dig into exactly why your wallet is feeling so much lighter. I mean, it's the question we're all asking, right? Whether you're at the gas station, pushing a cart down the grocery aisle, or writing that rent check, why is everything getting so much more expensive? Well, let's get into it, because the answer is a bit more complicated than you might think. And trust me, it impacts every single one of us. And look, what we're all feeling, it's not just in our heads. This is a cold, hard economic reality. Companies pretty much everywhere you look are being forced to raise their prices. And that decision, well, it creates this ripple effect that lands right on our kitchen tables. I know it's a stressful situation for a lot of folks, so let's try to get a really clear picture of what's going on here. Okay, so just how big are these price increases we're talking about? Let's take a look at the hard numbers behind this price squeeze of 2026 and see exactly where it's hitting us the hardest. So get this, we're not talking about just a few cents here and there. For the stuff we buy all the time, clothes for the kids, even the spices for dinner, we're seeing prices jump by high single-digit percentages. Think about that, 7, 8, maybe even 9%. That might not sound like a huge deal on its own, but when it's on almost everything you buy, wow, that adds up, and it adds up fast. And it's not just hitting your grocery bill either. This is interesting. Companies were actually pretty strategic about this. They held off on raising prices for the big stuff, electronics, appliances, that kind of thing, during the holiday season of 25. But that grace period, it's over. As of January 2026, those price hikes are officially here. So yeah, that new laptop or fridge you've been saving up for, it just got more expensive. So that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? Why is this happening? And why now? Why does it feel like every single company is raising prices all at the same time? Let's dig into the reasons, because it's kind of like a perfect storm of economic pressures all hitting at once. Okay, so here's the deal. It's not like these companies are just deciding to be greedy. They're getting squeezed too. Their own costs are going up. And it really boils down to three main things. First, you've got tariffs, which are making parts and materials more expensive to import. That jacks up the cost of making, well, everything. Second, wages are going up. Now, that's a good thing for workers, for sure, but it's another cost for businesses. And third, and this is a big one, the cost of health insurance for their employees has gone through the roof. At the end of the day, all those extra costs have to go somewhere, and they're being passed right on to us. And let me be clear, this isn't just a problem for the big box stores, not at all. These pressures are sending ripples out into every single corner of the economy. No one's really immune to this. This really shows you just how widespread it is. I mean, look at this. Your local coffee shop, the mechanic down the street, small businesses are seeing their costs go up anywhere from 4 to 10%. But then you look at construction, and it's a massive 10 to 15% jump. Now, to put that in perspective, think about it this way. That kitchen remodel you got a quote for last year at 50 grand, it could now cost you close to 58,000. That is a huge, huge difference. And for a lot of families, it's enough to put those big projects completely out of reach. So at the end of the day, all these numbers, all these economic forces, they all funnel down to one place, our family budgets. So let's talk about the real world impact. How is this actually affecting families? And this is where a tough situation gets even tougher. See, it's one thing to have rising prices, but it's happening at the same time that the job market is tight and not growing very fast. So the cost of everything is going up, but our paychecks and job opportunities, they just aren't keeping up. It's like a financial pressure cooker, and man, I can't imagine how stressful that must be for families just trying to make it all work. Yeah, this quote really hits the nail on the head. It talks about margin. You know what that is? It's that little bit of breathing room in your budget. It's the money for when the car breaks down or for a kid's birthday party. And that margin is just disappearing. It's vanishing. So families are being forced into making some really, really tough choices. Things like cutting back on groceries, canceling that vacation they've been planning, or just hoping the old car lasts another year. So when you boil it all down, what can families even do? Well, it seems like there are two main paths, and neither of them is easy. First, you can try to cut expenses even more, which is so hard when it feels like everything is already an essential. The other option, try to earn more money by picking up a second job. And that's just exhausting, not to mention incredibly difficult in this kind of job market. There are just no easy answers. And that really leaves us with this final big question, because this isn't just about spreadsheets and economics, right? It's about resilience. It's about how we adapt. With the ground constantly shifting under our feet in 2026, the real challenge is figuring out how to survive. How do we adapt our budgets? And what does just getting by even look like in this new, more expensive world?